Hey guys, Angry Monkey here with another Retro Game Treasure unboxing video for the month of May. I've been sitting on this for a couple days, just been really crazy with the Memorial Day weekend. Um, but anyway, we got a new Retro Game Treasure box here. If you're wondering what this is, if you're new to the channel, this is a video game subscription service that sends you 3 to 5 games to your house every month to add to your video game collection. This is not a rental service, you get to keep these games. And these games come on a wide variety of different consoles, whether you'd like to go old school with Atari 2600 or on television. If you're a Nintendo fanboy or fangirl or whatever, you can get NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U through your box, as well as the portable stuff for the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and 3DS. If you're a big fan of Sega, you're in luck there too, because you can get stuff for the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Dreamcast, and Sega Game Gear. I did not say Saturn, that was on purpose. Also, don't expect Dreamcast or CD in your box. I mean, I have gotten one of each of those before in the 7 years I've had this box, but it's pretty rare to come across those. Those games are kind of rare and expensive. But I mean, Master System and Genesis and Game Gear, those are pretty common. I got a sealed Sega Game Gear game once. It was like a Jungle Book sealed. Crazy. Anyway, you can also get original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, and PSP. So a huge, wide variety of different consoles that you can get games for, going all the way back to like 1977, and even as recently as the 2020s, because I have gotten some PS4 games, and I've even gotten Series X games in my box, kinda. You remember the first few years of the Xbox Series X and PS5, how the Series X had like Xbox One and Series X on the same case? So they're technically an Xbox One game, but they're also kind of a Series X game. Yeah, I got some of those in this box, and it was like 2022, 2023, so I'm like, it's not really all that retro, but whatever. Still another cool game that I got in my box. So still exciting. Um, Now, if you're somebody like me who has a huge game collection and you're wondering, how do I avoid getting duplicates in my box? That is where the wish list and the checklist come in. Well, the checklist obviously in this scenario, but we'll talk about both. But the checklist is if you're somebody like me, check off all the games that you have in your collection so that way you don't get duplicates, but you got to make sure you check off all versions of that game. Star Wars Battlefront on PS2, I have the Red Label Greatest Hits version of it, and I'm fine with that. But whether you have the Greatest Hits or the Black Label regular version, you gotta check off that you have both versions because they treat them as two separate games. So you gotta check all versions of that game. Check off that you have the Black Label and check off that you have the Red Label Greatest Hits. And I also recommend, if you're somebody like me that's got a bunch of different consoles, check off that game on all the different consoles as well, because it was also released on original Xbox as well, and even though I have an original Xbox and I don't have it on original Xbox, I don't need it on original Xbox because I've got it on my PS2. I can play it whenever I want on my PS2, so I don't need it on original Xbox. So basically what I'm saying is, check off all versions of that game, even if it goes across different consoles, or even the case of like, it was on PS2 and PS3, or original Xbox and 360, or some weird PS2 and 360, I don't know. There's a lot of weird combinations out there. Unless they're different and you want all the different versions, which that's fine. Like, I want to get all the versions of Soul Calibur 2, because there was a different character on the GameCube, the PS2, and the original Xbox. At first I thought I was going to be fine with only having the GameCube version, but now I'm like, you know what, it'd be kind of cool to get both the Xbox and the PS2 versions as well, because they got different characters, even though the GameCube version has Link, and that's the best, like, exclusive character you can ask for in a sword fighting game. Anyway, just check off all versions of that game, and check all consoles as well, just to cover all your bases, because in almost every box that I get, I somehow find a duplicate that fell through the cracks because, oh, I didn't know that game was released on this console. Well, that was me being dumb. So, Don't be an angry monkey. Be smarter than the angry monkey. There's also a wish list version where you can check off games that you want to get in your box. Now, within reason, I've got Earthbound on mine, but don't expect a $350 Earthbound game in your $40 subscription box. That's just not going to happen. Now, let's just say that you recently got a Super Nintendo and you want to get Mario World. That's realistic for your box. Or if you are into Madden games or whatever, you can get that in your box. I'm sure Sonic the Hedgehog is very easy wishlist item to put in your box. I mean, it doesn't hurt to put Earthbound on your wish list if you really want Earthbound. You're not going to get it, but I mean, I've got Earthbound and Little Samson and all that on my wish list just because I would love to get those games at some point. I just know I'm not going to get them in my box, but I have such a huge wish list through RetroGameTreasure that I get a wish list item pretty much every month, sometimes two, in a box, just because I've got so many. And like, oh, you want this game? Oh, we got like 30,000 copies of it. Yeah, sure, you can have one. Yeah. The other very important thing, along with the wish list and the checklist, is the survey, and this survey helps build a custom box for you. Even if you and Jim Bob have the same taste in video games, that does not mean that you and Jim Bob are getting the same box, because it is a custom box, and obviously it depends on what their inventory is. But with this, you can check the genres of games that you like to play, whether you're into platformers or arcade games, shooters, RPGs, sports games. Some people are actually into sports games, but check what you like, don't check what you don't like. And what I mean by that is, since 90% of people don't like sports games, don't check sports games, and you won't get sports games in your box. In the 7 years that I've had the service, I've gotten like one sports game, but it was for the Atari, and I thought that was kind of cool because it was boxing, like whatever. But it was kind of cool to get a boxing Atari game, the one that looks like two Geodudes punching each other, according to the Angry Video Game Nerd. Yeah, I got that in my box a few years ago, and I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of cool with that. But yeah, check off the genres of games that you like or want, and obviously don't check what you don't like or don't want in your box. There's also like a subcategory of like anime type games, Disney type games, Pokemon type games, NASCAR, skateboarding, just a subcategory type thing of other miscellaneous categories that you might want in your box. Again, check what you like, don't check what you don't like. There's also some other really cool stuff. You can ask for video game demos, or you can say that you have the Super Scope, or the NES Zapper, or the Super Nintendo Mouse. You are cool with getting rated M games, or you're cool with getting kid games, like baby games, like Mickey Mouse, or whatever. I don't know. It is so customizable that you can customize to like really minute details on how to get a custom box for you. And I think that's really cool. Anyway, I'm excited to open this box. So, let's open it up. So as always, I have the box facing the other way. So that way, when I pull a game out, we don't get spoilers of what our next game is. But coming up first is the most important thing, our discountairpillows.com, where pillows are inflated, not prices. Very important. These guys are kind of deflated a little bit, but they're still inflated enough. They're doing their job. Good job. You are heroes. Both you guys are. Anyway, feeling around in my box, I've got 4 games. Okay, I feel an NES game on top, a PS4. That one feels like an Xbox One game. No? That's a really thin case. Like, I was gonna say it feels like an Xbox One case as far as the thickness, but I don't feel the Xbox letters, so I don't know what this is. And then one that's the full length of the box, which tells me that we got a 360 game, because that's just how my boxes go. But anyway, we're going to start off with the NES game that's on top. Let's hope it's a good one. We got The Hunt for Red October. I know this is a movie-based game. I don't think this is one of the good ones. But, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a good game. I don't know. Gameplay footage, as always, up there in the corner, showing us on what kind of game this is. I hope it's a good one, but I don't think it is. I think this is a garbage game, but, well, whatever. Alright, up next, we got, this is probably a PS4 game, which is Dragon's Dogma Dark Horizon. Okay. Sounds like a pretty cool game. Some kind of fantasy. Includes all of the DLC. That is nice. I like when games have all the DLC included. Since there's no, like, thing here, it's probably all on disc. That's really nice. That might be my pick of the box. Alright. This is the one that kind of intrigued me the most. Okay. Oh, that's why I didn't feel the letters. I'm like, it has to be an Xbox game because it's like the thickness. There's like, I don't know. It's thinner than a PS4 case. But that's why. This is what I'm talking about. An Xbox One, Xbox Series X. This game came out in 2022. Redout 2. I think I have the first Redout game. That name sounds familiar. Maybe I don't have it. It's just a name that sounds familiar. But, okay, Season Pass. Well, we probably won't be able to use that, but that's cool that that's included. I hope that, okay, arcade racing, so we can still play it. It's not all online. But yeah, we got a racing game. Alright, and the last game, I gotta turn the box upside down because these things get stuck in there because they're the full width and length of the box. Alright, so I pulled it out. I did not see what it is yet, but I'm pretty sure it's a 360 game. I'm feeling it. It feels like a 360 game, and usually through RGT, I seem to always get a PS4, an Xbox One, and a 360. That just seems to be the trend, the pattern with my RGT boxes. But we got Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged, which includes a free month for Xbox Live Gold subscription, which obviously we can't do that. But I'm assuming that we can still enjoy these games. Oh wow, this has not even been like scratched off or peeled off or whatever. So that's really cool, and obviously we got the instructions there, the manual. It's always nice to have. So yeah, we got Bejeweled Geometry Wars, which I feel like I might have that one. Fable of Souls, so like maybe a platformer game. Backgammon, okay. Outpost Coloki, some kind of, I don't know, some space sim game. And then Texas Hold'em Poker. Okay, so we got a mix of a bunch of different games there. That's really cool. I have a couple of the other Xbox arcade type games. So that might have been a wishlist item. But let me just see on what my other Xbox arcade. Yeah, I got this one in a previous RetroGameTreasure box. So yeah, that's really exciting to get another one of those. Um, so yeah, I think overall this was a pretty good box. So this is what the bottom of the box looks like. You got treasure. It is talking about the boss chest giveaway, which I know in the past the boss chest giveaway was a special prize, as you can imagine, by boss chest giveaway. When I first subscribed to RGT back in 2019, the boss chest giveaway was a Sega Master System, which at that time I didn't have a Sega Master System, so that would have been a really cool way to get one. Would be through winning it, and then after that, you can potentially get games for your new console that you won. But I do remember the Master System. I remember a Sega Genesis was another boss chest giveaway. I remember a PS1 being a boss chest giveaway. I don't know how often they do boss chest giveaways, if it's like once a month, once a year. I don't know how that works. But I remember a few boss chest giveaway items in the past, but I don't know how frequently they are. But take a picture of your box, post it on social media, and then that enters you into the boss chest giveaway. Let's go ahead and show off what we got here. We got 4 games. NES, 360, PS4, and Xbox Series X. So yeah, if you like this video, I've got a link in the description below with my referral code, and if I refer 3 people to RGT with my code, I get a second box to unbox, which would be really cool to get a double unboxing once. Would be really fun. Never had it happen, but I have faith in you guys. I think it'll happen someday. We just gotta work together as a team. I believe in you. Alright, that does it for this section of the video. We've got a small pickup section. Nothing crazy, nothing big, but there's a few more games that I got throughout the month of May. So let's move on to that section and let's see what else I got this month. Okay, so this is a pretty small pickup for the month of May. Mostly because I'm still trying to save some money. But there have been a few things I've bought. Like I had to get a new capture card because mine is kind of starting to fail. There are some episodes of Tamagotchi Life that are coming up that are starting to skip. Nothing significant like Dead Rising or Tales of Symphonia. But in a 2-hour recording session, I'm losing about 45 seconds. And it's kind of annoying. And considering the fact that I've used multiple SD cards, tells me that it probably is the unit that failed. So yeah, that was something expensive I had to buy. I did buy some anime earlier in the month as well, but I have a few game pickups that I want to show off. I went to GameStop to pick up Shoot in Order. And look at that, that is really cool. So Shoot in Order is an interesting visual novel. It's kind of mystery because you're dead and you have amnesia and you don't know who killed you and you're trying to investigate that. I think that's kind of the overall story. So anyway, it's a visual novel, but it sounds pretty cool. So I pre-ordered that because I was told, oh, this game is really good, you need to get it, so I got it. So if you guys want to see me play it on the channel, let me know. Something else that I picked up. This was something that I had in my hand in April, and I put it back, and then I forgot about it. Was Mafia: The Old Country. So, another Mafia game. I've never played a Mafia game, but they look really cool. This one takes place in 1904, so it's got that period element to the game. So it's really fun to be immersed in a world in the past. I mean, yeah, there are plenty of medieval fantasy, whatever, but it's also really fun to play in a slightly more modern setting that I don't know. I kind of feel that the 1500s, 1600s are not really that relatable to me. Obviously, they exist. Obviously, it's really cool to explore what life was like in those worlds, that time, that era. Um, but when you start getting into the mid to late 1800s and especially getting into the 1900s, it gets a lot more interesting to me because things start to feel like how they are today, but obviously um, they're in the past. But there's elements to it like, oh yeah, I recognize that car. I recognize um, some of this technology, even though it's obviously a very primitive version of what we have today. But there's a little bit of a connection to it because like I understand what it is. I understand how it works. It's just old. Whereas like medieval times, that's a completely different culture. That you can have an idea of what it's like based on all the fairy tale stories and all that, but living in that era versus the 1904 or the 1970s or whatever, it's a different culture, it's a different way of life, and it's kind of hard to connect with it sometimes just because it is so different. Whereas something like 1904, even if it's in a different country, but like, okay, this is 1904. Yes, that's over 120 years ago, which is wild to think. But at least it's modern enough that I can kind of appreciate it and understand it. Anyway, that's what I'm getting at. So, anyway, it's cool. And this one is also a period piece. This was a game that I had in my hand back in like March or something. And they couldn't find the disc. I thought, okay, well, it's not meant to be then because you couldn't find the disc for Siberia, the World Before. But I thought this sounded really interesting. A story between past and present, which is really interesting. So I guess you explore the world in the past, and then something happens, and you find yourself in a later date and seeing on how things had changed. I'm assuming it's something like that. But this is really cool. It's not a steel case, but it's an art book. Um, but it's some of it's in a different language. But this is cool of like the sketches and everything. Unfortunately, the entire story. Um, is that French? I think that's French. So yeah, I can't read that. If it were Spanish, I could figure some of it out. And if it were Japanese, I could figure out a couple characters. Because I'm 600 some days into Duolingo. But yeah, this is really cool. But anyway, I think out of the 3 games I picked up, this is the one that intrigues me the most. Not saying that I'll get to it anytime soon because that's kind of how it seems to be on the channel of I get a game, it looks really cool, we'll play it in 30 years because that's just how it goes. Especially since right now I've been playing a lot of Tomodachi Life. By the way, like I said, I've got like, I don't know, 20 or 30 or something episodes coming of Tomodachi Life because I've been playing so much of it. Yeah, sorry guys, if you've been waiting for the finale for Dead Rising 2 off the record, I've got like 5 more episodes I can upload. I just got really hooked on Tomodachi Life because it's just so unhinged and I have so many ideas of characters to create or buildings to create or pets to create. So I've been exploring a lot in that game. So hope you guys like some Tomodachi Life because there's a lot coming to the channel. If not, I'm sorry. I've just been really enjoying it. And I hope you guys are too. But yeah, I think that's really it for pickups. Like I said, it's mostly been anime in the earlier part of the month, new capture card, and saving up for some more expensive items that are not like required to survive, but like I kind of need some of these items, so I need to save up. But anyway, before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified for when another video comes out, whether that's another episode of Tomodachi Life. Like I said, a lot of those are coming soon. If you guys really, really want to see Siberia or Mafia, Shoot in Order, or whatever I opened in the RGT box, let me know. I will write down all those requests as always. Just no guarantee that I'll get to it soon, but it is written down. You are not ignored. I also have a Facebook page where you can follow me on there. Just another way to interact with you guys. If you don't want to talk to me on YouTube, you can on Facebook, or as you're scrolling through Facebook, you can see that I've uploaded another video and you can go watch it. So that's cool. I also have an Instagram that I forget I have until I advertise it. But hey, it's just a really fun way to show off some cool items I've picked up. I mean, like, this is pretty cool. I might show that off. Like a steel case, I might show that off. Or some other really cool video game history thing, I could show that off. Most importantly is the Discord server, where we talk about video games, of course, because this is a video game channel. We also love anime on this channel, evident in Tomodachi Life, because every character in there, except for like me, Fruit, Kaj, and Phoenix, pretty much everybody else that I've made is an anime character or a video game character, because, I don't know, we like anime on this channel. And you could talk about video games and anime and Pokemon and post memes, talk about nostalgia, a lot of fun stuff like that on the Discord server. All you gotta do is just say, hey, I want to join. I'll send you an invite. It is free, where we can have fun, hang out, nerd out, and talk about everything that I mentioned, and then some: anime, video games, Pokemon, memes, nostalgia, a lot of fun stuff. And we'd love to have you join our community of nerds, where we have fun, hang out, nerd out. Anyway, that is all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to go play some more Tomodachi Life. Alright, see you guys then. Goodbye.